mean, that's a pretty across the board. Nobody wants to deal with that.
All right, everyone. I'm Kyle Hole, and thank you all for coming. And today I'm going to try and teach you all how to write a book. And while I'm maybe not the best person to do this, I enjoy writing, and it's just, something I find fun. And the only real problem I have with this is the information drops out of my head while I'm trying to write, and I kind of have trouble with that because you kind of forget whatever you're doing at that point. And if you forget what you're doing, you might lose that inspiration that you had. I mean, whenever I was practicing for the speech before I came here, I forgot what I was going to say about half the time. But all right, so I want to let people know how to get a book published and things like that. I haven't published one myself because I am embarrassed about my art, but and it's just whenever you're writing a book, you want to show someone else what you imagine. You have this vision in your head of some sort of story or something, and you need to give people what you are trying to imagine. You can't just have it be where people can't imagine what you're trying to show them. So personally, I've been writing a story right now that takes things from other works right now, and that's kind of illegal, so I couldn't get it published, but but I've been doing that, and personally for me, it fulfills the desire of seeing certain characters from my favorite shows and stuff interacting, and I find that other people enjoy that as well. But whenever you first need to do it, you need to learn about your characters, what they want, what they are doing. You need to get the story planned out at least a little bit, not too much. You don't need to completely bog down the story into being this set thing, because you want to have the inspiration to go off in other avenues to take your characters down. And you also want to make sure that there's meaning behind things, because you don't have, I believe the term is Chekhov's gun, where if you talk about something, it doesn't come up later on in the story. Like, if you want, in the Chekhov's gun example, it talks about the gun, and if you don't use the gun in at least 2 chapters later, then it wasn't important to the story. Now, I don't find that to be as proper, because you might talk about the gun in the first book, and then 6 books later, you eventually use it, that people have forgotten about it. But I find it useful as a tool to help people. But the 3 main phases of writing is the beginning, of course, whenever you start the writing and you do your research about what you're going to write about. Of course, doing the work, which is actually working on the project, and then finishing, which is just you correcting your mistakes, and then trying to get the book published, which is hell in and of itself. But if you, in the beginning phase, you need to decide what the book's supposed to be, what it's all about. You need to set aside time to work on it. You can't just sit down and just do it randomly, or else you'll never get it done, because you'll always be saying, oh, I need to do this, and I need to do this, instead of writing the book. And you need to write in the same area, because if you write in other areas, it can change how the characters behave because of the outside influences of other people. I've actually found that if I write in a public area, the stuff that people are talking about around me actually gets into my work. And you know how that is. That can actually be bad if you're writing a story in a fictionalized setting, and then they bring up some sort of news event that happened in the real world. If you want to do a word count, there's actually I found this out. Different word counts go for different book actual titles. If it's 10,000 words, it's actually just considered a pamphlet. If it's 20,000 words, it's a manifesto. If it is 40 to 60,000, it's a nonfiction. That's what nonfictions generally are. 60 to 80,000, it's long nonfictions or standard length novels. 80,000 is very long nonfiction or just a long novel, and over 100,000 words, it's an epic. You want to set deadlines for yourself too, so you can get certain parts of your story done, and you want to get feedback from other people about your story, which personally I don't do because I find it to be embarrassing to have other people talk about what I'm doing. I mean, that's just me. Other people might not find that to be a problem. But you need to do the final finishing phase, which is correcting your mistakes and getting the book actually proofread by other people, because you might not pick up your own mistakes, but other people might pick up mistakes of yours. You don't want to edit early on, because if you do that, you won't ever truly get done. You'll always be just continuously bogged down by trying to change what you're doing and trying to do that. But it's also good to do it as you go, because, well, if you mess up at the very beginning and you need to change the entire story afterwards, you just wasted all that time. But the worst problem is giving it to the publishers and things, because it can cost money, quite a bit of money to get it out, and most of the time publishers don't want to give a new author, they don't want to do work by a new author because they don't know if it'll make them money or not. But that's really all that I wanted to say. Does anyone have any questions about that?